My friends, how are you? It's fantastic to see you for yet another video, and we still live in Donald Trump's America, which means everything is going to hell on us, and that is the new normal. And I guess what we should expect, at least until we can drag this country kicking and screaming to the next midterms, because if the last election a couple days ago was any indicator, hope is still alive in this country, but we have got a long year ahead of us, my friends, as this dumb bastard Donald Trump has struck yet again. So you guys know me, I've been a little bit obsessed with the jobs report every month, but we don't get a jobs report anymore for a few reasons. Donald Trump and the Republicans want your healthcare insurance cost, your premium cost, to double, triple, and even quadruple, and they're stomping their feet and throwing temper tantrums about it, and they won't open up the government, which is one of the things preventing us from getting actual job numbers. But also, when the head of the BLS was putting out the job numbers, Donald Trump fired them because he didn't like that they were putting out the actual information about the destruction that Donald Trump has been causing to America, my friends. So what we have to rely on is ADP right now, who excuse me, keeps track of the private employment data numbers, and for the last few months we have seen that number dropping off. And I gotta be honest, I was a little bit surprised today when I went and looked at the ADP jobs report for last month, whatever the hell that was. We're all losing track of time by now. October, I believe it was. And I saw that there was job gains going on. And it was a little bit shocking, but it was 42,000 jobs added on private payrolls in America. And when you consider the amount of jobs lost since Donald Trump started fucking everything up, it was kind of just a drop in the bucket. It wasn't that great of a thing, but of course you have the MAGA dorks taking a victory lap. Look at this. Donald Trump, the amazing Donald Trump, has added 42,000 jobs in 1 month to America, because if there's one thing that Trump supporters really like, it's mediocrity, my friends. It's doing jack shit, fuck all, nothing, and taking a victory lap and talking about how amazing that is. But you know, my job here on YouTube is to shit on Donald Trump, because I got a real fucking problem with fascists, my friends. When the MAGA dorks run to me and say something nice about Donald Trump, probably never going to happen because Donald Trump is a fascist, and that really grinds my fucking gears. So, of course, I had to figure out what was really going on, because I had to counter this, because the hordes of MAGA dorks were showing up. They finally got up off their cousins or whatever and decided they wanted to come give me a piece of their mind, which I'd be careful with them. They ain't got much left to be handing out like that. And I had to go investigate what was going on, only to find out that Donald Trump is more of a colossal fuck up than I thought he was in the first place, because when the devil's always in the details with these bastards, I tell you, my friends. Excuse me, when you go to look up what is going on, we've got a shit show going on in this country. So I went to look up what is actually going on, because I know there always has to be something bad. If Donald Trump ever did anything good for the American people, it would be completely by accident, and you can bet your sweet ass he would reverse that as soon as possible, because Donald Trump loves nothing more than the American people having a hard time while he gets richer, right? Donald Trump will cut off your food stamps, your health care, get rid of your job, also that he can have a golden ballroom, so that he can get his $400 million Qatari jet renovated at our expense. So there's no way Donald Trump is doing good things. And I didn't even list a lot of the bullshit that he's actually doing. That was just a couple examples off the top of my head. Well, what I found, my friends, is going to shock you. Donald Trump is setting records right now. That's right. Donald Trump is setting records, my friends. And I know MAGA's cheering right now, going, he finally came around. He is acknowledging that Donald Trump has set records, and that maybe they'll take that out of context and clip it for their own videos right there. I don't really fucking know. They'll go, look, this trucker finally admitted that Donald Trump is setting records And he is. Donald Trump has broken a 20-year record, 20-plus year record in this country for amount of announced layoffs in a month's time, which was October. And we all saw that. We saw. I mean, I covered a small Home Depot distribution center, but you've got like massive UPS layoffs. I believe there was massive Amazon layoffs. You can go look up the layoffs yourself, but they were huge fucking numbers of people, these companies announcing their plan to scale back their workforce over time, but they are announcing that the layoffs are coming, right? And Donald Trump just blew up 20 years worth of fucking an economy doing okay for the most part, except every time you get a Republican in office and they start fucking everything up again, with a record-breaking 153,000 layoffs announced just last month from the companies in America. Ain't that fucking something? That's pretty crazy, isn't it? And just another interesting side note is to date this year, Americans have lost 1.1 million jobs. That is shocking. Excuse me, I almost choked because it's like, that's a huge fucking number, isn't it? What are we doing right now? But that's from the president that was going to lower prices on day one, right? And the president that was going to use his illegal tariffs to somehow bring manufacturing back to America. I would say on a thought and a prayer, but Donald Trump doesn't think, and he's the fucking Antichrist, so it wasn't a prayer. He did absolutely fucking nothing to bring manufacturing back to America. Remember, the closest we got was fucking Hyundai employees from South Korea in Georgia trying to train America's workforce. ICE comes kicking in the fucking door, and then South Korea's going, what the fuck are you guys doing? What the hell is wrong with the Americans right now? A bunch of Koreans get fucking detained, and I mean, I think that plant's still like moving forward, but you can't tell me that that didn't tarnish a lot of America's reputation when it comes to what was left of it anyways, when it comes to foreign companies doing business on American soil with American workers, you dumb fucks. Not you guys. I don't mean you, my viewers. The MAGA dorks piss me off so much because the amount of hoops they have to jump through and how they have to bend over backwards to make up shit for Donald Trump and say that he's doing something good. It's humiliating for them, I would assume. So whatever profanity I just yelled at the camera was for the MAGA dorks, and I apologize for that. But we got to look into the industries that are planning to cut all of these jobs and sort of get a better picture of what is going on. And in this rare instance, I actually wrote down just a few notes so I wouldn't fucking forget what all of this is. So the first big industry that is getting rid of a lot of people is the tech sector. And we know there's this huge AI push in tech right now to basically do AI and get rid of millions of Americans' jobs so that the billionaires can have more, and then the AI allegedly will do the work for them. And I don't know. I don't mean to sound like an old hillbilly right now, you know, the anti-science, anti-technology crew. I'm just not sold on the fucking AI that we're seeing for the most part. I mean, there's obviously AI now in our everyday lives that we see and we interact with and we use, but like the big AI projects aren't that convincing to me. But I'm not the only one saying things like that. There's a lot of speculation that this AI is a massive bubble that's going to burst like 17 times larger than the 2008 housing crisis. And the good news is, my friends, when the billionaires bankrupt the country again, and we're all trying to figure out where we're going to get our next paycheck and our next meal from, is we'll get to bail them out once again. That's the good news. We can't have billionaires go broke in America because that's bad, apparently. And the American people always got to come together and make sure they have money, because it would be tragic if a billionaire had to miss a fucking meal in this country, wouldn't it? So the AI tech thing is, I'm not convinced, but I guess we'll just see what happens. I'm not an expert on these things, but we do know that a lot of this is driven by Donald Trump and the fact that he is easy to bribe. You can buy and sell Donald Trump's ass all you want. You just have to have enough money. And of course, he's doing backroom deals. He's in bed with the tech bros. Zuckerberg goes on and lies to the American people about how much money he's investing in America, and then they caught him on a hot mic going, Donald, I wasn't sure what number you wanted me to say, so I just made up that one. Is that good? And Donald's like, yeah, that's good. You just made up that number. So the tech industry is... I guess we just ride that one out and see where it goes. But Donald Trump is 100% behind that also. The warehousing and retail portion of this is super fucking interesting, my friends. Do you know why? Because I've been telling us all along that that's what's going on. As a truck driver, that's what I'm standing in right now. For the next MAGA dork that thinks I'm standing in an RV, if these motherfuckers had ever worked a day in their life instead of bitching about everyone else, they would be able to look at this background and see that I'm standing in a truck and not an RV. Lazy motherfuckers, man. They never work. They just bitch about everyone else. It's astounding to me, the amount of MAGA dorks that cannot identify what this is that I'm standing in. Maybe if you'd ever worked a day in your life, instead of complaining, you would understand what this backdrop is, but not my fucking problem, all right? Not my problem. Anyways, I have been talking about the telltale signs that things are going wrong with transportation around the country, and then we started to see job losses in transportation. We started to see trucking companies close down. There's probably more that I'm not even aware of now, and we are definitely going to see through November and December, trucking companies get absolutely fucked because there's not going to be that Christmas freight spike that we're all used to seeing. Seriously, how many of you out there are even planning a Thanksgiving dinner at this point? You think we can afford turkeys all the fucking sudden after you bankrupted all of us? But on top of that, Black Friday, who's really gonna go out shopping on Black fucking Friday? We can't fucking afford it, and fuck them if they got a problem with it, because it was the president of the United States that insisted we were like psychopaths that bought one child 30 dolls every year. That sounds crazy to me that anybody would buy one person 30 dolls, but the president of the United States himself said you can only have 2 dolls this year. Oh, you want 500 pencils? What's wrong with a pencil? You can't get by with a pencil? The president of the United States himself has said that he killed Christmas, that he got fucking rid of it. And me, as a protest, I don't plan to participate in either holiday. I'm going to go home for those holidays because it doesn't make sense for me to sit on the road somewhere with no freight. I'd just be sitting in my truck when I could be sitting in my house. But as far as like actually participating in the retail consumer part of it, I have no plans. I don't need to. I don't want to. And I think that a lot of people should just take that stand. Look, just have the conversation with your family members. Say, look, this guy's fucking everything over, and we have a chance to speak with our fucking money at this point. And if we can devastate these retailers on Christmas, this is probably a whole other rant, and I don't know if I'm big enough to organize something like that. But fuck them. I'm not participating, is the point that I'm making. Anyways, I got a little lost in the weeds there like I do. We have seen a decline verifiable through my observations, but also verifiable information of reductions in freight in this country, reductions in trucking jobs in this country, and reduction of trucking fucking companies in this country under Donald Trump's bullshit. So obviously warehousing and retail are going to take a big hit on that too, because if we're not moving as much freight, they don't have as much need for employees at their fucking job, and they start losing work. Obviously, warehousing and retail is directly related to Donald Trump's tariffs, his illegal tariffs that the Supreme Court is arguing back and forth right now. We'll see how that goes. I don't really know. I haven't got to check on it much today, but it doesn't matter, because even if the Supreme Court overturns Donald Trump's tariffs, the relationships with other countries that have deemed us unreliable, rightfully so at this point, probably won't be back in the same capacity that they were before. They may come back in some parts or others, but in that same capacity, they've already kind of went other places. And then the other interesting thing was services. And I should have researched that a little bit more, services, but if I were to guess what it is, I should have looked this up. Now I feel like a dumb son of a bitch standing here saying what I think services are, but I would assume it has to do with hospitality, entertainment, your hotels, theme parks, Restaurants, of course, would still maybe fall under that. You get the fucking point. Casinos, all these fucking things are probably taking a massive hit. Do you know why? Because ICE is coming for you. That's why. If you step foot in America and you're not from America, but you're legally allowed to be here, that doesn't mean dick in this country anymore. So we are taking massive, massive hits to the hospitality sector in America, the tourism sector. And on top of that, it's sort of a compounding issue, because when you bankrupt the Americans and get us thrown out of our jobs, we have the same attitude I just had towards Christmas a couple minutes ago. Fuck it. Why would I participate in that? Why would I do that? I need to hold on to my money at this point. But the point is, all of this is Donald Trump's bullshit policies that are harming the American people, causing massive job losses, massive layoffs, and the 42,000 jobs that ADP was able to track as gained jobs in the private sector doesn't really mean fuck all at this point. It doesn't do anything for the American people. It doesn't even offset the jobs that have been lost. It doesn't offset the amount of government employees that are not getting a paycheck right now because Donald Trump and the Republicans can't open the fucking government, can't negotiate just a little bit. It does nothing for the 100, and let me check my note again. Look, it's not like I scripted the thing. Here's my notes, all right? That's my notes for the day. This is why I suck at YouTube, because that's what when I do take notes, that's what I consider notes to be. But anyways, 1.1 million jobs lost to date this year, and 153,000 layoffs announced in just 1 month, all under Donald Trump's failed fucking leadership. So yeah, fuck Thanksgiving and fuck Christmas. I'm not participating. I don't know how you guys feel about it, though. Anyways, I gotta get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.